much, it's kind of like drinking out of a fire hydrant sometimes. You have so much coming at you all the time that you think you remember something, you think you know it. But I always caution people to go back and read the policy, and those important things particularly, read the policy every time so you don't leave out an important step that's gonna trip you up later. And if I would have a principal call me and ask me a question about a policy, I would say, I wouldn't give them the answer. I would say, let's get online, we're gonna look at this policy together and go over it. Because if I just told them the answer every time, what are they gonna do every time they have a question? They're gonna call me. And as I used to tell principals, if you've gotta call me for every decision, I don't need you out there. You know, you have that training, and I know you all do good training here. So that's kind of the thing, you gotta keep your people trained. But I always try to really stress that when you're doing a policy manual change, it's really important to really, the first year or two after that, spending time at every principal's meeting and every time you can, highlighting those major policies, or particularly the ones that are likely to cause you the most heartache, the ones that are going to end up in front of the board or in the newspaper, to make sure those types of situations that you really have, make sure your people are updated on the new policy. It may not have changed much, but there may be enough of a change that you need to look at it again. Or maybe a little, or the procedure may change a little bit from what you've done in the past. Because our procedures that Neola has put together, they work with 1,500 school districts around the country. So they're pulling the best practices of what we've seen out there and have been put in place into those procedures. So I always tell superintendents when they're looking at those guidelines, sure you can change them as you need to, but I really encourage them to give them a good hard read first, because they've really been vetted heavily about, are they legal, do they match the policy really well, and do they work? You may have some specific thing here that works better. If you do, great, but at least give it an honest look. I've had some districts that just want to wholesale put their procedures in. But if you're going to do that, you got to really take time to reread that new policy and that procedure to make sure they match, and you don't trip yourself up needlessly later. So anyway, I'm running out of time here. Of course, that clock's a little bit fast.
It's 48.
48. So if you have any questions, I know that you'll be scheduling Mr. Hanshaw at some future meeting, so we will do that. And then I will look through the policy manuals to see if there are any other major ones that I feel the board needs to look at. Most of these have been tailored to things that were discussed in the special circumstance review they've asked us to review. But
so, Mr.
Yeah.
Just a question. I know earlier you had questions and answers. Let's say you have, say I'm a bus driver, and knowing I had the keys and things to get in the facility, and I come in and I start decaling cars, just making a little extra, knowing I have the product and stuff in the buildings. And so I do this without getting requests for the facilities, do the insurance purposes of, let's say a fire would happen or something like this, that I would be breaking.
yeah, employees can't use facilities for a pecuniary interest.
Right.
Like when you said detailing, I'm assuming they were doing that as a money-making.
Yes.
Yeah, that would not be a proper.
That would not, okay.
Yeah, that would be problematic. Yeah.
Okay.
Or if a mechanic was doing brake jobs in the county, I'm just throwing it out there. Not that it's happened here or anywhere, but just you look at things. That's an overall arching state law. Buildings can't be used for pecuniary interest.
Because you're looking at liabilities and, somebody's, okay, thank you.
We expect other people to build their businesses.
Exactly,
To have a place of business, and it's really an unfair advantage competitively if,
Absolutely.
the government's providing the housing for their business.
Thank you.
That's my knowledge of state law. I always say, talk to your attorneys, but I feel pretty confident you'd get the same. I've had to ask that question before when I was superintendent. Anything else? But thank you, and I know I'm gonna hang around for your board meeting, but if you have any questions afterwards or anything comes up, I'll be around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Did you choose to do the color blue?
Did you do this PowerPoint?
The,
Yeah, that's just something that popped up on the computer. It was the one that was least, they have different templates, and a lot of them have different designs. And that was one that had the fewest designs, because my eyes, when I see one with lots of design on it,
Yeah.
it's just a focus thing for me.
Well, that was easy to read, but this wasn't. And when they do anything in red,
Uh-huh.
I can't read it in red
Yeah.
very well at all.
Yeah, but when you get on the templates, there were some that had just way too fancy, just had that little stripes on the side. That's why
Yeah.
distracting for me. It was more of a blank canvas than any of them I had available on my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would have worked better some places where the text would have been in white all the way through. It would have popped out more.
Yeah.